Hey everyone, and Nintendo's such a family-friendly company. I mean, I trust them with whatever they're gonna put on the eShop. Watch, it's easy to prove. Take out your Switch, buy something on the eShop, anything. Did I just buy Catherine?
Catherine Full Body. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Should I really be hearing about this game? And, did I leave my Switch in the microwave again? Oh, thank goodness. Trust me, there's a reason I wanted to play this game, but since I played through it, I might as well review it, and I'll be honest, it's actually a pretty good game. But let's start from the beginning. This is a enhanced version of the original Catherine game that was released back in 2011, and if you couldn't tell from the visuals, this was made by the same people who worked on the Persona games. There are even some familiar voices in the game, like the voice of Kanji, Rise, Yukari, Yosuke. That's right. The game was originally released for the PS4 and the PS Vita, but in a Direct Mini, it was announced that this game was heading to Nintendo Switch, which was big because before then there was hardly any news from Atlus about the Nintendo Switch. So let's have a look at the game and see what it has to offer, if it's actually worth checking out, and what it could mean for Atlus's possible future with the Nintendo Switch. So this game is actually a story within a story. It starts out with the intro to a television program known as the Golden Playhouse, followed by the introduction of the host Trisha. I personally like the whole idea of making the game like a television program. They explained in an interview that they wanted to give the game a bit of a Twilight Zone vibe, and it definitely feels like that from the story itself to the small details like the Golden Playhouse watermark being shown throughout the game. But anyway, she will be introducing us to the main character we will be playing as, and then we just jump right in and get started. So the actual story is about a man named Vincent who has been comfortable about his typical lifestyle of working in the day, hanging out at the bar with his friends at night, all while being in a current relationship with a woman named Catherine. With a K, bear with us. However, things are really going to shake up for him and he's going to be going through a lot. It all starts out with Catherine throwing hints on the idea of getting married, but Vincent isn't necessarily ready to make such a big decision. So instead, he decides to talk about it to his friends at the bar. However, during their discussion, Vincent learns some shocking news.
Did you hear about Paul? He's dead.
Paul? Wait, that Paul?
Who the heck is Paul? Oh well, what's actually important here is that quite a few people, including this Paul guy, have been found dead in their rooms, and there's a rumor going around suggesting that the cause of this is a nightmare that some people have been getting. Coincidentally, when Vincent goes to sleep at night, he has a nightmare about seeing a giant wall and many sheep trying to climb it. This is where a good portion of the game is played, and we'll get to the details later, but the main objective in the nightmare is to climb to the very top of the wall. Anyone who fails to climb the wall and falls will die in the real world as well. But come on, our boy Vincent succeeds flawlessly. Alright, let's try that again. And he makes it through the first night. Unfortunately, after that nightmare, Vincent wakes up to the sight of someone in his bed. And it's not Catherine. This here is Catherine, with a C, which Vincent somehow met at the bar last night before he went home, and now she has an interest in Vincent, which only complicates the situation for him. I mean, he doesn't tell Catherine about being with another woman overnight, nor does he tell Catherine that he's already in a relationship. But hold your horses, because there's still one character missing in this picture, and that is...
Catherine?
I'm not sure about the spelling, but, that's the name I remember.
This is Rin, or I don't know. Rin encountered Vincent at the very beginning of the story while running away from something and accidentally bumping into him. Since then, Rin couldn't really remember anything, so Vincent helped out by getting Rin an apartment to stay in as well as a job at the bar he hangs out at. Everything seems pretty normal until Rin for some reason shows up in Vincent's nightmare to help him climb the wall.
Oh, that's it? Oh, wow. I was expecting things to get more complicated for Vincent, and there it is.
Okay, so let's summarize. Vincent is considering marrying Catherine while cheating on Catherine with Catherine, and there might be something between him and Catherine.
Wow, and I thought calculus was confusing.
Now that I've fried your brains, I will take advantage of this moment and ask you to hit the subscribe button. Did you subscribe yet? Anyways, that's all I'll say about the story because it does get pretty interesting from here on, and it's also fun to see what ending you might get, as what happens to Vincent and how the story ends all depends on you. So the game is divided into multiple parts, similar to the Persona games. One portion of the game is character interactions at the bar. Each night you will be at the bar where you can interact with other characters that hang out there, and it's not just limited to the ones you know. You will meet people who have the same nightmares as you, and talking to them will help them explain the situation, and you will be able to find out the reasoning as to why they're having the nightmares. Other than that, you can see and respond to messages and calls, which do help you determine what ending you might get. You can also speak with your friends and listen to their views and opinions, or just drink the night away.
I know this is sudden, but here's some trivia for you, as you seem to have finished your glass.
Alright, listen, sir, I didn't ask for a TED Talk about my drink.
I know this is sudden.
Well, you could talk to the boss himself, and he'll give you his thoughts and experiences. And then he does weird stuff like this.
Me eat you whole.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Okay. Maybe a rinse of water on my face will help me forget all of that. You know what? I've had enough of this place. Let's head home and sleep already.
I know this is sudden.
Now, the second portion of the game is the nightmare itself, and guess what? It's a puzzle game! The basic idea of the game is to be able to move the blocks by pulling and pushing them using the directional buttons. Also, we could reach the very top of the wall. However, as you continue through the game, you will learn special techniques to help you climb through tougher stages, and you will also encounter different blocks that have different effects on the stage. These puzzles can be pretty tough. I was on normal mode and it was already challenging enough to get through. However, there are some helpful things that can help you along the way. There are some items that you can get that have some sort of effect on the stage or the player itself, and later on, Rin mysteriously makes her way into the nightmares and plays her piano to slow down time when you are running out of blocks to climb. Now, between stages, you will rest up here, where if you listen closely and talk to the sheep, some of them will sound quite familiar to people you've talked to at the bar. You can speak to these sheep and they will either tell you their situation and emotions, or they will teach you a special technique that you can use while climbing. And then, there's this sheep.
I love money.
He will sell you an item to use for when you climb the wall, and they can either be handy or honestly unnecessary, probably depending on the difficulty you choose. Once all of that is done, you can enter in here, and these are where the real deciding moments happen. You will be asked questions by a mysterious voice about your opinions, and whatever answer you choose will move this meter. Now, I will mention that there are questions that are specific to the two Catherines, but then there are questions that determine if you might get Rin's story route. But once you answer the question, you just move on to the next stage, and near the end of every night, there is a boss that you will have to overcome as they chase after you, and if you are able to reach the top before they get you, then you are free to wake up and start the next day.
What was that?
Amateur hour.
Now, I know I said there were two reasons I played this game, and one of the reasons is genuinely to experience the game and what it had to offer, and this game really is an enjoyable experience, from the challenging puzzle solving, the character interactions and development, to the whole story itself. It's not a very long game, but it definitely was an enjoyable one, with plenty replay value, with trying out harder difficulties to trying to get all the game's endings. As for the second reason, this is technically like our first look at a Persona game on the Switch, as the original Catherine game was seen as testing grounds for what would soon be Persona 5. And as far as I can see, this game runs really well on the Switch, from the visual standpoint to the stability of the game. Though Persona 5 is a much larger game compared to Catherine Full Body, seeing Catherine run well on the Switch should give fans hope that they may be able to play Persona 5 or Persona 5R on the Switch very soon.
So there you go, Catherine Full Body for the Nintendo Switch. It's actually a pretty good game. Now, it's not for everyone. I mean, have you seen the rating? But it is definitely one of those don't judge a book by its cover games, as it's actually pretty good in its plot. And it should give us some hope that we might see a Persona game pretty soon. But until then, it's back to family-friendly content. Nintendo, what have you done?